Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Again, video is about to start. Hit that like button down below. Hi guys, so we're going to tie a very famous salmon fly. Fairly simple, but I'm sure it has accounted for thousands and thousands of fish down the years. So this is a silver stoat. So I'm using here this is a fulling mill magni, but you can tie it on singles, trebles, whatever suits, even tubes. And I'm going to use a gel spun here, but use whatever you want. Probably a black thread would be the job. So I'm going to put on a little bit of silver wire here. Set it on the top, and then I'm going to run it down between the bend, or between the two hooks. And then I'm going to go backwards with it. For 4 or 5 turns, and then I'm going to come between the legs of the hook and tie it up the shank, and then I'm going to fold that back on itself and return it back down to this little butt that we've created. Get that wire out of the road here, hopefully. So for the tail, I'm going to use a golden pheasant topping. I'm going to use a fairly straight one and just use the tip of it. Set that on. And the length is up to yourself. I'm going here for one that's about maybe a shank length. I guess if you were targeting sea trout with it, you'd probably reduce that in to reduce the chances of any nipping. So the body on this fly is holographic silver tinsel. So I'm taking here, this is a medium holographic silver tinsel. I'm going to tie that in on the top of the shank, fold it back and put a couple of turns across it. And then I will wrap down the body. When I get to the bottom, I'll come back up, being more particular. This first layer here just means that when you come back up, even if you do have a little bit of a gap, it'll be holographic silver that shows through rather than whatever thread or bare shank or whatever's underneath it. And again, some people like the holographic. I suppose originally it would have been just plain silver. So I guess that's up to yourself as to which you choose. And the same could be said for the wing here, because we're going to go with a squirrel wing. But again, if you're trying to keep it not so garish, you'd probably not put any flash in it. That's what I'm going to do here. And if you wanted it a little bit more flashy, put some sort of flash into it. I'm going to just flip that bar back underneath and then wiggle break that off. So that is our tail and body construct done on the fly. So next it's time to put on a hackle. So you can choose to put on full hackle, you can choose to put on a throat. I'm going to use a black hen for this. So a little black soft hackle. And I'm going to strip quite a bit off because I'm going to try and reduce my tendency to put on too many wraps. I'm nipping out the tip, so this is what I'm left with, and I'm going to tie in on this little V here, because that will be the very last sort of millimetre or so of stock. So we tie across that and flip it back. And then we'll wind that on. Now if you wanted, you could have put that on as a straight throat, and you'll have seen me do that in bunches or the sort of V pulling technique in other videos. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to pull the feather between my pinched finger and thumb, and that just makes sure that all the fibres lie on the one side, essentially doubling it as we wrap. So I'm just going to flip that stalk back and tie across it for added security. Nick that off. So there we have a very wispy little hackle. So for the wing we're going to use black squirrel tail. So I'm going to take a bunch of that. I'm just going to pull out the shortest bits of it from the base of it, and we now have the choice as to whether we stack it or leave it as it is. So some people like that very regimented square end. Personally I'm not such a keen fan of it myself, so I'm going to measure this up until it's, now we could go full length of the tail, but I'm going to come a little bit shorter than the tail. I'm going to transfer it into this hand, and then I'm going to nick that off. Place that up on the hook, a couple of turns to hold it in place. Now I'm holding it under tension here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of super glue here, and I'm going to run the super glue. It's on a cocktail stick. I'm just going to run it on a couple of inches of my thread. Now my thread is a very thin gel spun, so then as I wrap this down it'll seep into the wing and should hold it in place. So to finish that off, what I'm going to do is to blacken a few inches of my tying thread. Then I'm going to run super glue on that. And finish the head off with that. So as you can see, the super glue is creating like a little bleb. nick that off. And when that dries, then what I'll do is I'll give it a coat of clear and I'll see what it looks like for colour, and if I want I'll then put a coat of black varnish on that. But that is our silver Stoat tied on a dub. So hopefully you like what you see. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends. Check out all the hundreds of other videos I've got on the channel. And until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.